Hello, scholars. How are you doing today? I'm not sure what day you're looking at it, but the day I'm recording this, finally, there is no smoke. It's beautiful outside, and I hope you're out there enjoying it, no matter what day this is, that you're actually listening to this. Now, out of everything here, I believe most of these items make sense, but this may be slightly new, and I want to show it to you. This is the building block number 1 of the final project, the annotated bibliography. And I'm going to go into it. I went into it slightly on the overview, but I want to be more specific here. If you would like, you can download this doc and fill it in. It's essentially this. Also, you can copy and paste. Whatever works for you. If you need some other additional help, of course, ask me for it. What this is going to require is your name. You have a broad topic, which is COVID-19, but you're going to add something else to it. Hopefully at this point you reviewed the video on how to build a topic or a question or a research question, and this should make sense to you if you reviewed that. If not, go back and look at it, or send me a question and I'd be glad to go over it with you. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I am available to you via Zoom and discussion anytime that you have questions or want to go over something. So your name, the broad topic, and one thing, and a little bit more of a focus. Let's put in 3 different keywords or ideas. And topic stated as a question. This doesn't have to be correct. This doesn't even have to be what you stick with, but I would totally advocate that you do so because it's going to be so much less work for you. We might tune it up. In fact, as I was looking at my research question on the example, I'm like, I think this needs a little work. That's part of the process, and it's okay. Here, I need you to identify 3 keywords for this topic. Things that you might use to do research in Google or the databases or any other place. How would you find articles or information on this topic? Pick just 3 keywords. In the end, you need 15, so let's knock out 3. Now, I want you to find one source using the main ideas, but I want you to use very specifically PubMed. I need you to find a full text article. What I need you to record is the authors. I want you to do last name, first initial for all of them. I want you to put down the date published. I want you to put here the title. Here, I would like to have the name of the journal, issue number, volume number, page numbers, beginning to end, if there are page numbers, the digital object identifier, which we'll talk about more, but I'll show you how it looks on PubMed. And in 1 and 2 sentences, I want you to let's start writing these annotations. In 1 or 2 sentences, in the end, it will be 150 words to 300, so this is just a little start. Detail why this article might be useful. It is okay to use first person in this work. Sometimes when you're working in academic research, you have to use a third person and take out the I, my, and our type things. And here, we're talking about the research as you're going to use it. So the first person using I is totally awesome. Now, let's go here. PubMed. And this is how it's going to look. And this is how you search PubMed. And we'll put in COVID-19 health care. I'm just going to health literacy. This is you do have an opportunity for advanced, but this will get us there. Oh, look, the first thing is actually an article that would be fantastic for my piece. It's not in my annotated bibliography, so I'm feeling a great deal of shame. Right here, you're like, what is this PubMed.gov? And why am I using it? Well, there's a variety of different search engines that you can use besides Google that are more specific and wonderful for your topic. As you can see here, I really have just really fantastic, wonderful articles that just popped up all of a sudden. So PubMed.gov is going to be great for your research, likely as well. Unless you're doing COVID-19 in safe fashion. That might be a little iffy. But try it out anyway. Because the part of the research is not always the finding. Sometimes it's like, oh, this isn't going to work for me. So this lets me know that this is a free article. See, a couple of them are free. You can put free full text over here to make sure you get it. because I want you to find only full text. If you can't use or read the full text, then you can't use it as research. But do know that I can, or we can, or your librarians can get you these materials you can't find full text for. But for this project, let's look for the full text and we can deal with that later. Okay, so now I've put this down and I've loaded to free full text and full text. Well, now I have an opportunity to look at this as well. Just remember, the more you pick, the less resources you have. Right now it's 75. But this offers us several things. And I just want to talk about this here. I talk about probably several places. The systematic review, especially when you're working in medicine and evidence-based medicine, is the pinnacle of evidence. Usually what it does is it takes several different studies, puts them together, and it determines what best practices are in terms of a thing. It's really a rich way. It is a secondary resource, but it's a powerful lens to look at the information that's out there, especially when you're starting to go into something and you don't understand all the pieces. I'm thinking my topic has not been around long enough to have a systematic review. And actually it may. This talks about dealing with the challenges with a rural population in which healthcare may be a thing. This lets me know that it has full text open access. So when you're doing your piece, make sure you can get to it. So if I click on this, I can read the whole thing. I'm going to need to read everything to do this project. The abstract is not going to have enough information for you to actually do an annotation because you're digging into it and I want details. You're going to have to read it. And you're going to need to read it because guess what? The abstract doesn't always tell you what the article's about. Sometimes the abstract is the piece used to allow a research group to send in their article. And after the peer review process, it may not be the same thing. If you've ever read an abstract and then an article and they didn't match, that is why. And that is a frustration. And also, while you never, ever, ever, ever use the abstract, go to the full text. So you'll see up here, I have at least 2 opportunities. And I also have a cite button. And this is looking at it. This is not correct at all, but it does have the information you need. Oh, it's anyway. Let's go to APA. Systematic review. There's too many capitalizations in this. We'll talk about this in the very last module. But the rule here is always copy and correct. But this is pretty good to use just to keep your notes. Your notes are going to require here the authors, their last names, first initials, the publication date, the title, the journal, the volume number. This is the issue number. And this is the page, but it's only the first page. You need beginning and end. In this case, you're going to actually use the piece itself to find that final page if it's available. And it's not going to have it. So in that case, you could actually leave the pages blank because it does not have pages that can be identified. I hope this didn't confuse you, but rather thrilled you. I realize this is the first assignment. The grading on this is going to be very easy. In fact, I'm not even putting a rubric on it. This is how you'll get full points. Fill in all the blanks. Make sure your 2 sentences are substantive. If your entry, what you turn into me is not adequate, I'm going to write back to you and we're going to work on it so that it is. So let's get it done. If it feels kind of unfamiliar, it's going to become more familiar. If it's something you know, I'm excited to have you in the class as well because we're all going to move forward together on this awesome project. And I really hope somebody is doing fashion because that will be delightful.